we really wanted to have this talk session for parents. We know that there's a lot going on right now, and we all are adjusting to our new normal, if you will. And so we wanted to be here to support you all, and really just wanted to have a conversation. So this conversation will be really informal. Please make sure that you participate. We're going to give you time, just in a few minutes, to just share your concerns with us. And so we want to be a support, as much as we can. Just some housekeeping rules. We are going to unmute you one by one if you would like to share. Just make sure that your background noise is clear. And also, you can send us a message in a chat box. Make sure to send it to all panelists and attendees so everyone can see your questions. And you can also, there's an option where you can raise your hand if you want to participate. And so definitely make sure you do that, because we definitely want to make sure that you all participate. So we are going to get started. Like I said, thank you again. And we hope you enjoy our presentation. We just wanted to give tips and strategies on how to just help with everything you have going on right now. Okay, so first off, we would like to know these different questions. We have 3 questions we would like to pose, and we would like to hear from you. So the first one, what are some challenges that you are dealing with right now? And then how have you been coping with the pandemic? And then how can we help? So we are trying to assist as much as possible, but we want to hear from you all how we can help. So please either send me a message or in a chat box, or raise your hand so that I can unmute you. Hold on, let me get to my participants. Ms. Long, I'm coming to you, and then Ms. Washington, I'll go to you next. Ms. Long, you're on.
Okay. So with me and I have 2 kids. One of them, Jay Sean, he's in middle school, and I have a daughter that's in elementary school.
Okay.
I treat it like it's a regular school day. We get online at 8:45. So at 8:45, they're in front of the computer. From 8:45 to 12:15, they have to be in front of the computer doing work. At 12:15, they get a break from 12:15 to 1. And at 1 o'clock, they have to get back on until 3:15. To me, it's like they're still in school. Like, even though the schoolhouse is closed, you're still in school. So I feel like if we continue to treat it like it's a regular school day for them, then they shouldn't be behind, especially when you have teachers that's there and willing to assist the kids with whatever they need assistance with at the time that they're available. So for me, I don't really have a lot of hiccups with it, because like I said, we treat it like it's a regular school day. Mm-hmm. So I'm not really affected by it as much.
Okay. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that feedback. And I encourage all of the parents to take that that feedback and make sure that you're implementing it, because we are finding that a lot of parents are not treating it like it's a school day. And a lot of students are treating it like it's a break. And so that's where a lot of the issues are coming in. So thank you so much, Ms. Long. We really appreciate that.
No problem.
Ms. Washington, we're going to come to you next.
All right, my concern is him learning in a non-traditional classroom setting. Is he actually getting it? Is this the type of learning that he can that he can excel because he's not used to a non-traditional classroom setting.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it is a school day, and I've expressed to him that the requirements for college, that still stands, so you still have to keep up with your work and everything, but still it's a lot going on. And with us, it's like we had to send him somewhere else because his dad and I have to work because we're essential. And so we have to be out. So it's just, with us, it's a lot going on. And but my main concern is the non-traditional classroom setting, him learning. And especially, what if you have a child who's ADH? That's like just to sit in a non-traditional classroom setting, like at home, where so many distractions.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely a concern of for a lot of our kids. Just trying to figure out ways to help them to stay focused while they're at home. Because, like you said, because it's a non-traditional classroom, there are a lot of distractions that they're not usually used to, when they're in the classroom. So we definitely have to be creative during this time for our students to make sure that they can stay focused. Thank you for that, Ms. Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, Ms. Washington. So I would recommend having same thing, kind of what Ms. Long was talking about, in having the structure, and that's going to be very important. Trying to mimic the school day as much as possible, so that they can still be in that routine if and when they do return back to school. And I know it can be difficult because you're not there or they're with other caregivers, but just allowing them to have that structured time, even if it's, during a certain part of the day, being able to do work or do something that has to do with school, and then taking frequent breaks if it is a matter of him not being, or her not being able to sit for long periods of time, or just kind of implementing different strategies. A lot of information on YouTube. There's a lot of information just out on the internet, just of how to deal with ADHD students. And we'll kind of talk about it with this presentation, but I would just recommend that it's definitely a different time that we've never witnessed before, but just being creative and still trying to get them to get the information that they would have gotten in school is just going to be the most important. So hopefully that helps.
Thank you, Ms. Alton. Ms. Scarborough, I'm coming to you next. Hold on.
Hello?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. I was gonna say what I did was I did type up a schedule for him. I did it the same hours that he had at school. Once his school sent in the finalization of their school hours, we just switched over their schedule. So I just simply explained to my son what was going on, because I work for DCPS, so I have to work from home. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
But I was just explaining to him what was going on, and that we had to treat our home like school. And I said, once school hours are over, then it's over. But I mean, I literally, like, he's normally in the boarding school, so I literally took the game away. He doesn't get it back until Friday, like he would normally get if he was still at school. So it's like I'm doing everything normal that he would do at school. So it's no room for like what's going on. I mean, of course, the only difference is I feed him breakfast and lunch, but home styles, supposed the food they serve at the school, that's the only difference. Other than that, this is run like a school. Because at the end of the day, I tell them, you're on your way to high school, you're still getting grades as if you were still in the school building. There's nothing changed. So that's what I've been doing.
Exactly. Thank you so much for that. We appreciate that feedback. Does anyone else want to make a comment, suggestion? We've been getting really good feedback from the parents so far. Anyone else have a comment that they would like to say? You can raise your hand or send us a message so I can unmute you. Okay, let me make sure. All right, so we will, I don't see any more hand raised. So we will get into, the presentation. And so we're gonna actually have Miss McCoy. She is going to start us off with our presentation. And so let me get to her. All right, go ahead and take it away, Ms.
Right. So good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for your comments and your concerns. We're here for you and we understand. So hopefully by the end of this presentation, you'll have some tips and tools that you can use. With that being said, the first thing I wanted to discuss was how to cope during this COVID crisis. So some of you may be feeling like Cardi B, coronavirus, this stuff is real. Or some of you may be feeling like a minister. You're kind of calm during the crisis. And some of you may be a little in between. But however you're coping, I hope that you take heed to some of the things that we share with you. So how do you cope during this COVID crisis? The COVID crisis this particular crisis is a stressful event. We can't control this. It is out of our control. But what we can control is how we respond in the crisis. So everyone responds to these stressful events differently. But parents, one thing I really want to stress to you is how you respond. Your children are watching. So if you're, and not saying that you shouldn't be doing these things, you respond however you respond. But your children are watching you. So if you're screaming, you're yelling, and you're out of control, that impacts them. You know, if you're coping by using drugs and alcohol, or sleeping a lot, or just kind of checking out, your children are watching, and this can impact them and how they're coping. So some ways in which stress can be displayed at this time. You can start to worry a lot. You can start to be fearful of going outside, fearful that you're going to catch the virus. You may use drugs and alcohol to cope. If you find yourself turning to drugs and alcohol a little too much, I mean, if you have like that nighttime drink just to kind of calm down, but if you find that you're drinking the whole bottle or drinking something every day, you may need to check that. If you have trouble sleeping, either you're sleeping too much or you're not getting enough sleep. Challenges with your thinking, you can't problem solve, you can't pay your bills, you can't make a plan, you can't think straight. That can be an issue. Or you may have health challenges. Sometimes the stress that we have can impact our health. So please take heed to those. And then in middle schoolers, these are some things you may see in your children, and take heed to this because this may be impacting them. They may be a little sad or depressed. They may be irritable or angry. Some of them may not want to do their schoolwork. They're like, forget it, we're not in school. Some of them may feel like we're not even going back to school. We don't know that yet, but some of them may be avoiding some of the activities they used to do, and some of them may just not want to interact with the family at all. Next. Oh, actually, can you go back, Christy? I'm sorry. Sorry about that. So actually, guys, if you look in the right-hand corner, you see this particular picture where it says the stress meter. If you look at this, and a lot of us have probably went through a lot of these different strategies throughout this crisis. So you can be relaxed, you know, then you're coping well. Then as you go up the ladder, you're a little stressed about what's going on. You listen to the news and what other people are saying, and it's stressing you out. Then as you get more stress, it turns into anxiety. You're fearful. You don't really want to interact with others, and you're just worried. And all of that, as you get more and more stress on yourself, it can lead to a panic attack. So please take heed and be careful. Okay. So the next one is tips to help the parents cope. So one of the things I want to stress to you is self-care is not selfish. Even during this time, you know, the children are home and you're trying to do all you can to take care of them. You also have to take care of yourself. I'm not sure how many of you have rode on a plane before. And one of the things the stewardess talks about before the plane even takes off is putting on your putting on your oxygen mask first before you put it on your child. So that's what I would stress to you today is take care of yourself first so that you'll be good to take care of your children and your family members. So some of the tips may include your physical. So you want to take care of your body. You know, a lot of times, I know for me, because I'm working from home, a lot of times I'm sitting down in the same spot. And as you get older, as you sit in the same spot, your body tends to ache as you stand up. So as you're, while you're home, try to get up and exercise, you know, maybe every hour or so, get up and just stretch or walk around or change your position. Exercise, eating healthy meals. Even with the kids being home, I know we have to cook for them, but sometimes you may be tired, stressed out, or have a lot going on and it's just like fend for yourself or do whatever. But try to cook something healthy every now and then. And sleeping. Be sure you get the right amount of sleep, whatever hours that is for you to take care of you to make sure you're doing okay. So your mental health, you want to take time to unwind. With this being said, you want to be careful about how much news you watch. Sometimes the media, well, think about this. When you're watching the news, a lot of times they do what? They exaggerate the negative aspects in the news, right? So as you're watching the news, try to take a step back because whatever you turn on, believe it or not, you're going to hear about this virus. You're going to hear about someone passing away. You're going to hear about the numbers going up, what have you. So to unwind from that, just take some time to just not even look at social media or to not look at the news. And that can be even in talking to people on the phone. Because I know sometimes I get phone calls and the first thing they want to talk about is the virus, you know. So check that. The next one is environmental. Some of us are home. Some of us are working from home. So after that long day or throughout the day, do some spring cleaning. And that can be as easy as taking your purse out. I know for me, I clean my purse out and guess what? I found money in it. So clean your purse out. You may find some money, something in it, or some gift cards or what have you. Or you can just use, clean out like one of your drawers or some of your clothes, what have you. You never know what you may find. And sometimes in cleaning things, one thing my mom always told me growing up, how your room is, it kind of shows, it represents you and the type of person you are. And as I got older, I noticed that sometimes when the room was messy, I was all over the place. So take some time to try and do some spring cleaning. Relationships. During this time, a lot of us can't go out because of the stay-at-home orders or because we just don't want to go out. So we can't go out and interact with some of our family members. Text them, call them, FaceTime, you know, send an e-card, you know, do things like that. One of my girlfriends, she did like a FaceTime with her family members and they played a virtual game over the computer. So you can do things like that and you can use Skype, Zoom, or what have you. Financial. Some of us may have been laid off during this time. They talk about a stimulus package that's supposed to take place. Hopefully that comes through for a lot of us. Also unemployment. Some people are getting through quicker to do that. I would say try to do it online. A lot of people who are calling, they're online for hours. So try to do it online. But set up a budget. This is how much money I have for right now. So this is what I can do and take care of what needs to be taken care of first. Also with some businesses, they're allowing you to flex your payments or to skip a payment. So I would even call to check on that as well. Some other examples of how you could do self-care is what self-care may look like is saying no. So if someone calls you and say they want to talk about the virus or asking you questions, just say, you know what, no. You know, right now, I really don't want to hear that. I don't want to deal with that. You know, I'm trying to unwind, have peace in my mind, just not right now. A bubble bath. And that can look like just putting, even if you don't have like the Bath and Body Works and all that, get some dish detergent, squirt it in the water, sit back, let the bubbles flow. You have a candle, light a candle, put some music on, relax. Or if you don't have time to do that, you can do a quick shower. Reading a book. If you don't have time to sit down and read a book, a lot of the libraries have audiobooks. You can even go to YouTube and type in the name of the book and just listen to it. Something to get your mind off of what's going on. You can do absolutely nothing. Self-care can look like, you know what, I'm gonna sit here for 15 minutes, don't bother me, go play your game or whatever you, and just sit there and do absolutely nothing. Drinking tea. So one of the things I've read, the CDC is a great resource if you want accurate information. But one of the things they talked about is drinking a warm drink every day to actually cleanse your throat and the mucus, not to sound graphic, but yeah. Drinking tea helps. So drinking some tea or some coffee or something warm. Decluttering, relaxing your mind, getting dressed up. So this is key. This is important because actually today was the first time I actually ironed my clothes and put something on. But do this at least once a week. Pull out one of your nice outfits. Put it on, do your hair, even if you got to put a ponytail, get your teenager to slick them edges or whatever. Do that. Take a selfie and update your profile. You know, sometimes getting dressed up makes you feel a little better. Taking a nap, listening to music. One of the things about music I noticed, I don't know if a lot of you follow D Nice on social media. He's a DJ. He's been playing on Instagram and Facebook. It's like a DJ playing live. You just hit the button and you just listen to the music. Or you can even do your own music, whatever you like. Meditating and doing your hair. These are some tips. Then as you can see in this right-hand corner, it says 15 minutes to better self-care. These are some other ideas. Some of them I mentioned. Read, go outside with caution. Now that all of this is going on, I know that everybody don't want to go out all the time, but even if you just go, like if you live in a house, your backyard or your porch, an apartment, maybe open a window just to get some fresh air, using caution, however you want to do that. Calling a friend, coloring, listening to music, practicing mindfulness, and some of those are already mentioned, and think positively. Sometimes during this time, we have a lot on our mind, but try for at least a moment throughout the day to think positive. Try not to think about what's going on. So the next part I'm going to talk about is positive ways to interact with your middle school and high schoolers. So they're home all day. They're used to going out. They're used to being around their friends. So a lot of them are like, you know, I want to go out. And actually during this time, it's very important that you stress to your preteens and teens that it would benefit them to stay home, to stay close to home. Not trying to frighten anyone, but we actually need to explain to them as best as we can what's going on. There are a lot of people who are outside and they have the virus, but they don't show symptoms. So it's important that we stress to our teens and preteens to stay home, you know, connect with your friends via social media or what have you. With that being said, before I get into this, I want to also stress the importance of, there are a lot of teens, and I'm saying this because I've heard of some stories, there are a lot of parents who may still be working, and so their teens are at home by themselves. And what happens when some teenagers are home by themselves? Some of them may have company, right? So some of them are going to see their friends, and I've actually heard from another counselor about a student who engaged in some unprotected sex, and the parent found out. I'm only saying this just to say that check on your teens, you know, because they can engage in some risky behavior during this time. So it's very important that you talk with them about the importance of washing their hands, staying close to home, and not going over anybody's house that you don't know. So these are some creative ways that you can interact with your middle and high schooler. So establish a regular routine. And I want to thank Ms. Long for sharing about her son and daughter and how she sets a schedule. We are still in school. The kids are still being graded. They're doing the distance learning program, whether that's a packet or online. It's very important that you set a schedule with your students. However that looks. I know a lot of kids are sleeping late, they're going to bed late. But I think it's important that we just establish some type of routine. You know, it's not okay for them to sleep all day, because that can be a symptom of depression. So you want to check on them to make sure that they're not depressed. So establish that regular routine. Set aside a time for schoolwork. Communicate with their teachers. Some parents have talked about, from just me and talking with other parents, that I don't understand this work. The teachers are still there. They're still on the clock. They're still being paid. Email them. If you have their number, call them, text them, what have you. Use the teachers as a resource because they're there for you. Check in. It's very important to check in on your middle school and high schoolers. A lot of times they stay in their room. They're on the video game. They're on social media, what have you. Get them out of the room. Make them come out and interact and join in with the rest of the family. And check on them daily. Talk to them. How are you doing today? What's up? What's going on? You know, how are you feeling about what's going on? And some parents haven't really talked with their children about what's going on because maybe they feel like, not that they don't care, but just, you know, I don't want to bother them with that. I don't want them to worry about it, but they're talking about it. They're talking about it to their friends and other people. So have that conversation with them. Another creative way is music. So you could, one of the things is called song association. So that particular game, if you ask some of your children, they probably know these games as well. But song association, basically you say a word. For instance, if I were to say happy, so you have to think about a song that's in the title or the lyrics. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Okay, so happy. And so you can go around to the family, and sometimes you can say whatever word, and it can be a word like dark, and people may not be able to think of something so quickly. So it's something fun and silly to play. Another thing to do is a lot of people are doing TikTok videos. I actually was going to do one, but we didn't have time. But if you go on social media, so many families have created their own TikTok. What a fun way to engage with your children. Create a TikTok video. You don't have to post it, just something to have a memory of something fun we did during this crisis. Another thing is you could cook or bake. So be creative. That's the whole thing. Get them out of the room and say, hey, we're going to cook something today. Like on a Tuesday, you can do Taco Tuesday. You can do the meat. Another person can do the vegetables or whatever, what have you. You can do breakfast for lunch. I put back Throwback Thursday meal. And that's just something like to say that think about when you were younger, what is a meal or something that your parents used to cook for you, and try to recreate that for them. Or you can just do a sandwich. You know what, I'm not cooking tonight, go in there, do your own thing, you on your own. Be creative is the main thing. And another way is family game night. So there's so many games. Of course, if you have board games, Uno, Monopoly, what have you, you can play those. But even if you don't have those, it's not an excuse not to engage with your family. One of the games that's very popular, and I know your children know it, and even if they don't, it's called Never Have I Ever. So you put up 10 fingers and you say, never have I ever. So I can say, never have I ever had barbecue chicken. I don't like barbecue sauce though. So if the person fits that, then they'll put the finger down. And you just go through and each person picks a question and do it that way. Another one is two truths and a lie. I actually have a middle schooler and a high schooler in the house. And I was telling them, we were talking about games and I mentioned them and they would say, Mom, they're not going to want to play that with their parents. They're not going to want to tell them the truth about certain things. But with two truths and a lie, you actually tell two things that are true and one thing that is made up. And the person has to guess which one is the lie. So just be creative. You have Pictionary, tic-tac-toe, you can draw. And the last one I have is bingo. And this was online and we can share this with you. This one is called social distance bingo. So at this time, what do we want to do? 6 feet apart from people, but anyway, you want to stay distance during that time, but you also want to, what's the key word in this? You also want to remain social. So you still want to interact. So with the social distance bingo, you just read the different things and you try to find at least 5 in a row going up or down or diagonal. And as I looked through one, I couldn't get bingo. But what are some other ways you guys can think of that you can be creative with your family members? You can put it in the chat box, or if someone has an answer, we can unmute them. Bingo, okay. You like the bingo? Okay, and you can put some more answers in the chat box so that other parents can get ideas just to be creative. But the key thing is to interact with each other as a family, to not stay distant from each other in the house, but to interact with your family members and have fun.
Thank you, Ms. McCoy. We will now go to Ms. Alton, who will continue the presentation.
All right. Thank you. Again, yes, thank you, Ms. McCoy. I think you gave a lot of insight and a lot of tangible things that can be utilized today. So that's helpful, and hopefully parents, you're able to really take the information and apply it. So I wanted just to talk about how to really talk with your young one, your teen, about kind of what is going on. It's important to really keep communication open because this is a situation that, I mean, we're all going through this. It's not just a young person, but we're all dealing with this. We all have different emotions about it and issues and probably questions about it and things like that. So what I have on here is share information about what is happening in a calm and factual way. So this can be difficult. I mean, Ms. McCoy talked about it, just about the media and how it's very sensationalized, and a lot of the things on there is very negative. But you can do some research, do some digging. I would really stress here too, which a lot of people aren't talking about, is preventative care. So what we're not really talking about is how to really boost your immune system so that you're not affected by any type of virus, whether it's coronavirus or any type of illness that can come your way. And if you do, then your body can fight it off naturally. So I would research that, and let's like take a proactive kind of look on a spin to this to really focus on preventative care so that we're not affected by any type of disease. So you can, and I would definitely recommend looking at the news, maybe just limiting yourself to maybe an hour, or just maybe in the mornings and the afternoons, just so you can understand what's going on and just see, because things are changing, you know, daily or weekly, so that you are aware, and being able to just keep that communication open with your young person. I know the young ones on my caseload, they're not necessarily looking at the news. They're not necessarily like, I don't think they're keeping up with everything that's going on. It's just an after effect of them having to be in the house and things like that. But just kind of opening the communication up, like, what do you think about what's going on? I'm just trying to have those conversations with all of them, and just to make sure that they have a place to talk about how they feel. The next one is staying home. I mean, we've heard this all around, you know, everywhere. It's just everybody saying to stay at home, and making sure that you limit your access or your outside activities, and making sure that the young people, our teens and middle schoolers, are not going over to friends' house, not going to just hang out outside. And as the weeks go, and as we kind of get into this, you know, they're becoming more strict with what we can do and what we can't. So I would just advise everybody to stay inside, and hopefully having those conversations as to why and the importance of being safe. The next one is help your teen look forward by helping them shift away from what was lost and identify ways to move on. So one of the techniques that I do is to look at the positives in everything. So let me ask this question to the group here. Do you believe, I guess you can put a 1 in the chat box, do you believe that there is a positive in everything? Like in everything, is there a positive? Does Donald Trump have a positive anything about him? That usually gets people very passionate. Okay, even Donald Trump. Okay. Yeah. All right. So yes, I believe that too. So I really am trying to have the conversation with them about the positives in being in the house, being more connected with family, being able to have a sense of kind of leniency in a way with school. My school's set up a little bit different, so they're able to check in at 1 o'clock. So they do give them time to sleep. So that is a good thing. So they're having more of a break kind of, because they know just realistically, they probably wouldn't want to fight that battle, but them being able to really do their work on their somewhat leisure time, being able to eat, throughout the day, things like that. So that's what I really try to focus on, so that they can look at it more as a positive, being in the house versus what we cannot control is being outside right now. And then the last one is monitor your teen's social media use. This in itself is something that should be standard, because there's a lot that can be done on social media, and we all know, and I'm pretty sure either with our young ones or someone else that we know, that there's a lot of conflict that kind of arises with social media. But just in general, just making sure that you're limiting the time. It kind of goes back to what Ms. Venable, Ms. McCoy was saying about keeping that structure. And if you have that structured kind of day set out for them, it's going to be, and allowing them to be on their phone, because that's realistically what they want to do. I think that that's a battle that you can somewhat win, because they're still being able to have their time on their phone and get what they need to get done. All right, so I want to talk about importance of mindfulness. So the difference between mindfulness and mindful. Mindfulness is really being aware of your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions in a kind of holistic type of way. So being really aware of your 5 senses, being really aware of kind of what's going on, and really being able to control it, right? So there's a lot of things that we cannot control right now that's going on, but there are a lot of things, and I wish I would have put a slide in here just about what we can control. So we can control what we watch, what we eat, what we do in the house, or just who we talk to. Like, there's a lot of things, and that kind of goes back to being positive and looking at things in a positive perspective is how you can really pull out some of the strengths or some of the positive things, like I said, just in this situation, a crisis that we're in. So mindfulness is really a state of mind. It's really a conscious thing that you have to practice, that you have to really do on a daily basis. And once you do it, it does become much easier. You can do it anywhere, anytime you might feel yourself getting anxious, overwhelmed, irritated, frustrated, angry, things like that. This is something that you can really do so that you can kind of bring yourself to a point where you are in a relaxed or a calmer state, so that you can make the appropriate response to certain situations. Filling your mind with what will help you live and be better. So that kind of goes with the media images, music, what Ms. McCoy was talking about. It's really important. Music is healing. What she's talking about, D-Nice, there's a lot of DJs just doing virtual dance party or virtual parties on the internet. Just in general, you can just find a lot of things, and music is healing. And focusing on who you want to talk to and who you don't want to talk to, who you might think that is negative, not just talking about coronavirus, but just somebody that's going to put you in a space where you do feel somewhat anxious is going to be important as well. Focus on the things that are of the present, current actions and your thoughts. So really focusing on the here and now. We can't change what has happened in the past, can't change the future. And literally all we have is right now. So it's important to really be aware of that. And letting go of anything that doesn't serve your goals, as well as this is a choice. So you have a choice in all of this. It's whether you want to use it to be helpful for your situation or your life, your goal, your way of thinking, or you can, in a way, use it to continue some of the negative kind of feelings. So that would be overwhelmed and stressed and things like that. And I am aware, and I'm not naive that stressors are going on right now, and financially people might be in a situation, but I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. And if you turn it and switch it in a way where you're able to look at, like I said, the positive in it, and be able to really work on yourself. I mean, we've been given a lot of time to be in the house, not just working, but being able to really focus on what we need to do within ourselves, make ourselves better, and hopefully, and connect with family, and kind of doing different things that maybe you wanted to do but couldn't do because of our busy lifestyles. All right, so this is what I wanted to do next, is to really, this is something that I do with my young people, is to talk about being grateful. So, well, first, let me just say this. Anybody have any questions about what I said? Anybody disagree? Anybody does this? Anything? Anybody? Okay. So we gotta know. I'll take that as a no. Okay. So the next thing I want to do is, I just want everybody that's on here, how many people we have? 16. To just take a moment to really think about, I'm okay, I'm safe, yes. Just take a moment to think about 5 things. I mean, this is a very small number, and you can always kind of go up as you kind of get better at this. But this is something I do daily. I do it at the end of my day, to really think about what I am grateful for. There's a lot of things that it could be a lot worse, or just a lot of things that could have happened within the day. So I just want to take this time just for everybody just to think of 5 things that they are grateful for. And if you have some paper, you can write it down, or if you want to write in the chat box, you can. Just to kind of get your mind in that thinking that, you know, there's a lot of things to be still grateful for. So just take that time right now to do that. Right. So I see Miss Long, still her job, my babies are safe, right? Miss McCoy, life, family, health, job, and food. Good health, family, friends, God's blessing, life, yeah, right. Good. So this is just something you can do. You can always, like, it doesn't have to be a limit to the number you kind of feel. If you're having difficulty in identifying some things that you might be grateful for, you can all, I mean, we're all alive, just kind of like what people were saying, my life, my health, right? Life, health, and strength. A roof over your head, food in your stomach, access to this webinar, sun, you know, because it was raining earlier. So it can be just kind of the simplest things. And hopefully you can practice that in a way, because you have to really be able to train your mind, your thinking, to think in a different way so you can have different results. And being in that grateful state, you'll be able to continue to kind of bring that positivity within you. All right, so next slide. All right, so these are 4 different activities in addition to what Ms. McCoy was saying. These are some things that you can actually do just to kind of promote some well-being within the family or within your young person, with you, however you want to do it. So there's 4 different exercises here, activities. I literally went on Pinterest and put in mindfulness activities, so you can go on there and there's so much to choose from, so many different examples. So you can also do this, but these are the 4 that I kind of went through here. And the first one, I like this one because it really is your heart. You can do this with the young person just to kind of see, you know, kind of what they're thinking and who really means a lot to them. And it's just kind of like a heart broken up. And then they just talk about some of the things that they might love. So it could be video games, it could be friends, it could be Nutella they put on here. But you kind of get the idea. This is a good one just for adults too, to be able just to kind of break down their love and who they or what they feel is important to them. So the next one, I'm a big proponent in physical exercise. Woo! Okay, I'm a big proponent in physical exercise. Woohoo! I see you, Ms. Venable. All right, so one of the things that you can do, so it is so important, and I was just having this conversation earlier with one of my young people, that you got to look at it, take into consideration all the walking that we were doing or young people were doing or parents were doing before. Either you're walking to the bus, train station, your car, walking to work, walking inside of work, or the kids are walking to and from one end of the school to the other side of the school, and now you're not doing either nearly half of that. It is important. Physical health is really is connected to everything, right? So your emotional well-being, your emotions, your mental health, all of that. So this is an activity that you can do, and I promise you it gets easier. Okay, I promise you these exercises will get easier. So this is the A to Z, and you do the activities. You can put your name in there. You can put the month of your birthday. I mean, it's not exclusive, just your name. But my first name is Alexis, so I would jump up and down 10 times, pretend to jump rope for a count of 20, walk like a bear, try and touch the clouds for a count of 15, balance on your left foot, and bend down and touch your toes 20 times. So that's just an easy way that you can really do something within the house. There is multiple videos on YouTube with indoor activities that you can be doing, or just kind of training videos and things like that, just to get your heart pumping, your blood, your heart elevated, your blood pumping. All right, so the next one is what goes on in Janelle's head. Is kind of similar to the heart, but it's really a breakdown of the brain, and it kind of shows maybe the worries. This is just an assessment, just kind of see where one is at, and just kind of be able to then do something or respond in a way. And that's just a kind of good way. You also can do this as parents, just to kind of break down kind of some of the things that are going on inside your mind. And then like Ms. McCoy had, there's a mindfulness bingo, and that's just a fun activity that you can do. And it kind of just teaches different ways and techniques about mindfulness. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, just let me know. You can type it in the chat box.
Thank you, Ms. Alton. Those were great tips and tricks and strategies. We really appreciate all of those different strategies. And so now we just wanted to give you just some resources. So if you all having any mental health challenges or know anyone that's having mental health challenges, you can definitely reach out to our office. We have the number here, and we have our website, or if you're already a client, please reach out to your therapist. and we will be happy to assist with whatever is going on or get you connected to the resources that you need. We also have the Department of Behavioral Health. They are a great resource. They really can help with many things that you may have to deal with right now. And so their number is 1-888-7-WE-HELP. That's 793-4357. 311 is still up and running for the DC residents. That's the mayor's helpline. And then if you are, need extra mental health assistance, you can reach out to a care manager at your with your insurance company. So, please just make sure you are utilizing your resources at this time, because all of the different resources that they have available, they're definitely here to support you all. So that is the end of our presentation. Thank you so much for attending. We will now, yes, please follow us on Instagram at Smile Therapy LLC. If you are not connected with us, that's on our Instagram and Facebook. We are posting things daily, resources, encouraging words, just keep in contact and keep abreast of all the things that we are doing. And, just reach out to us if you need any assistance, whether it's mental health or other resources. We're really trying to be a support in the community at this time where, we're all facing this challenge, and we're all trying to get adjusted to our new normal. So if you have any questions at this time, please write it in the chat box or put your hand up. Thank you, Ms. Lee. Ms. Kathy Lee, for participating. Also, let us know what other topics you would want us to talk about. And if you would like us to do the webinar weekly. We had another webinar on Tuesday for our parents of elementary students. They provided some great feedback. And so we want to know, what other topics do you all have that would be important to you during this time to just get through? And then would you be open to coming onto a webinar weekly? So send us a message, raise your hand if you want to share. We really appreciate the feedback. So I'll give you a few minutes to do that. Okay, I see some weeklies. I think that's the consensus with a lot of parents right now. Let any other parents let us know your idea. I would be willing to do weekly. Thank you. Give us your feedback. We want to make sure it's as helpful as possible for everyone. Weekly. Thank you, Ms. Venable. That's another Ms. Venable, guys. Ms. Johnson, thank you, weekly. Okay, so I think that's a consensus. So what we're going to do is we're probably going to have one webinar each week, and we'll try to go off of the topics that you all tell us. Text something encouraging to kids. Okay, and we also are looking to do a chat with the youth. And so that's forthcoming. And so definitely look out for your emails, because we'll be sending it to the parents in addition to the students. But we want to be able to talk to them as well. We want to make sure they will be open to joining us if we have like a little Zoom meeting or something for them. So give us any other ideas you guys have. Give them incentive. Everyone wants incentives. We may do that. We have a lot of clients, so we may provide some incentives for the youth to come on, because we know that they need to talk too. We're not the only ones experiencing this. The children are experiencing this as well. And just like we're overwhelmed, they're overwhelmed. Most of them, or some of them, because this is different for them. They're not used to staying home. They are used to being at school, socializing with their friends, getting on their teacher's nerve, causing trouble in school, and they can't do any of it. And, it is really affecting some of our students. So we want to be there to support them as well. So give us any other feedback you have. If not, if you think of anything, you can send us an email to info, I-N-F-O, at smiletherapyservices.com, all one word. Let us know your ideas, but we will send you the recording of this. So just in case you want to share it with someone, and we will also send out resources to everyone who participated, a resource list. So again, thank you very much. I want to thank my therapists, Ms. McCoy, Ms. Alton. I have a lot of other therapists that's on here as well. I want to thank all of them. They all have been working very hard. You know, we are essential as well, and so we are still working. And although we are not seeing clients face to face, we are still providing our services through telehealth. And so, you know, we have to make sure that the community is getting the mental health support they need. So we are working very hard. So parents, please make sure that your student, if you are one of our clients, make sure that they are attending their sessions, okay? Make sure they're not sleeping all day, make sure they're attending their sessions, because we have to make sure that we, you know, continue for the continuity of care. Thank you, we appreciate you too, Ms. Long. So if there are no more questions, concerns or comments, we want to thank you again, and we will now end, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.